Hello up there. It's Brad J. Lamb. You too can become a condo millionaire. The Todd Shapiro Show. Canada Laughs. SiriusXM 168.
Hey, Brad Lamb's here, looking fine as always. How you doing, Mr. Brad J. Lamb?
I'm fine, thank you. Good afternoon.
You're intimidating. Do people tell you that?
Never.
You ever hear that? Do you ever hear that?
Never.
What do you think it is? Your success, your stature, your confidence. Your what do you think that is?
Well, I'm rather tall.
Yeah.
And I have a shaved head.
Oh, we have an ID for you, don't you? You have a listen. That adds to it.
Hello up there. It's Brad J. Lamb. You too can become a condo millionaire. The Todd Shapiro Show. Canada Laughs. SiriusXM 168.
See, the pun of the hello up there was your height and condos.
I got it.
Yeah. you didn't even explain that at all, did you? Hey, how about those Raptors?
Amazing. You know, I was. Someone asked me about halfway through the first game if the Raptors had a chance, and I said, no way. And they've really turned it around. I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's neat. What do you think that is? What do you think turned them around? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. Maybe the first two games, maybe Cleveland just looked better than they were, or I don't know. Maybe they're just digging deep. It's hard to say. It's a long series, 7 games, so it's hard to say exactly what it is. But I think that they're punching a little above their weight right now.
Uh-huh.
But it's great for the city. It's great for the Raptors. It'd be amazing. Apparently, Popovich whispered to. Did you hear about this
No.
rumor? Apparently, the last game against San Antonio when the Raptors were there, he whispered in Dwayne Casey, and some people heard it, that the Raptors would be in the finals.
Wow.
So he
Yeah,
said.
that's what happened.
What an ultimate compliment. That's great. I mean, for a guy who's brought so many teams to the finals, that's really cool.
So they might be as. I mean, it's when you've grown up with the Raptors, it's just a little hard to believe they're there yet. But if they're, it's hard to tell over 82 games. You know, there's a lot of crap teams.
Yeah.
Not that many great teams. So they might be better than I think.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, that's very, exactly. It's hard to appreciate sometimes teams as opposed to stars of teams. You can always tell who the star is of a team,
right,
who one of the top players in the game would be, like a LeBron James. But sometimes, again, from a layman perspective, even though I played ball in high school, this team, when they gel, I guess they can be unbeatable.
They have 2 great guards. They have great second guys, so they're going to be there. It seems like anyway. We'll see. I mean,
the game, I was there on what would have been I guess Saturday, and then I don't know.
I saw you there.
Yes, exactly. We saw you there. Were you there Monday?
No.
But the atmosphere. I mean, that do you go to a ton of sporting events? What do you think of that?
I don't like the Leafs, so I don't go to Leafs games. I do go to a lot of events outside of Toronto, but.
Are you a Habs fan?
I was. I'm not anymore. I'm actually a Pittsburgh fan.
Oh, good for you too. What's going on there?
Yeah, but the ACC specifically with basketball there's no place like it in North America. It's electric. Like, the fans are amazing. The fact that all those people come to that Jurassic Park thing for hours, nowhere else do they do that. It's an amazing thing to see,
and that's what Toronto really is all about is sort of the diversity, the unification, and people getting together and building up this incredible city, which is exactly what Brad J. Lamb Realty has done. Now, last week we kind of got into the history of you, Brad, and explaining from where you started from and what you've taken it to, over 8 billion sold. I was thinking about it. I go, I still kind of don't understand what you do as a developer. And the broker on record and stuff. What does sort of that mean? What's that aspect of Brad J. Lamb?
Well, so Brad J. Lamb Realty Inc. so I started as a real estate agent and then became a broker about 5 or 6 years later. Broker basically sells real estate, but also manages real estate agents and sort of forms a company where the agents work for you, right?
Do you need a certain amount of years as a realtor before you can go and become a brokerage?
Actually, you don't. You just have to take a bunch of courses. You could do it all in a few years if you wanted to, but most people don't, because being a broker is not that lucrative. It's a different kind of person that becomes a broker. Top real estate agents can make millions and millions of dollars a year in Toronto and in Canada.
Wow.
And brokers who own businesses, it's harder to do that because the RE/MAX model, which most companies have kind of incorporated, takes a sliver of income from each agent. and takes a desk fee and these sort of death by 1,000 cut fees. But it's hard as a broker unless you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of agents to make a really great living. So what I did was I decided to be more of a team where I would hire, say, 20 guys to work, or women too, to work around me. And they're on they're on lower splits working in my office and in the bigger offices. So I'm able to make money because I make more from each agent, but the agents do well because they get more business from me.
Sure, I would imagine that within these big Remaxes and that kind of stuff, that there would be a lot of competition within agents and kind of some. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I mean, there would be a lot of like whoever picks up the phone call and gets that, that gets the next one. But when you said you're working with 18 to 20, with the amount of inventory you have to sell and what you develop, and then with also the resales and that kind of stuff, that is it a friendlier? I would imagine it being a friendlier environment.
It is. Yeah, I didn't want to work I didn't want to be in a place that everyone's at odds with each other. So. I hire nice people I like. Maybe they're not nice, but I like them. and so we build a team of a lot of the people that work for me are my best friends now, and so
that's great.
Yeah, it's a great place. I think it's a great place to work, and we do very well. We do about 1,200 sales a year, so each agent does very well. So anyway, I did that, and then I got into the development side of sales, and then I started my development company. So, and I have a bunch of other things I do too. I have a mortgage company. I have a marketing company. I have a construction company.
How do you manage all that? How you delegate well? Do you trust your team? You trust your people?
Well, I do a lot. I mean, I'm very controlling. That's for sure.
But I mean, in order to be that controlling, I mean, are your days 20-hour days focused on making sure every business is growing and growing properly? I
don't know. I mean, I don't ever not work. So I work every day of the week and I work all the time. But work for me is not like sitting at a desk. Sometimes work for me is reading a magazine and getting ideas, or having a couple of beers and talking to people, and then things come to me, right? So I think if you're a creative person and you're a business and a business creator, then you see ideas and opportunities everywhere. And so work is an always thing, but also it feels to me like I don't work. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I'm almost envious of it. I think that's the place where a lot of people would love to be, where A, you're successful making money, but B, your work is your passion. So because of that, it's easy. It's easy because you're loving. It seems like you love what you do.
Yeah, I do, and also it's once you've done it enough, like every development is similar to every development. So I sort of. The process is I find a piece of land that I think works. I negotiate and buy it. Then I bring an architect in and we design what we want to build there. Then we go to the city and we fight with them and they say, of course not. We go to the OMB and we try to win, and sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. We market it, we sell it, we build it, and then we close it. And so it's the same kind of process all the way through. I didn't mention financing, which is always fun. So once you get it down pat, then you can do a lot of things because it's the same thing over and over again. Like I don't spend as much time on floor plans as I did 20 years ago because I know them now. I know how people want to live and how they should look, and I only hire architects and consultants I've worked with a lot. It's hard to break in with my company because if I don't know you and you don't know me, it's going to take me longer to work. So I work efficiently, really. That's what it's all about.
Sure, and about trust and obviously about their people's talents or skills.
Yeah,
which you get now. The design part of it, the hiring, the architecture part, that to me as a creative person would be like so fun. Do you still take a lot of joy in that, in creating these new buildings that are not like other buildings? I mean, the process is like one another's, like you explained, but the buildings they're really very different. What you do, you truly make art in the sky, and is that a big focus?
Yeah, that's the number one focus. So, the way, whether people agree with you or not, that's what we're trying to achieve. But I think the way to achieve it is you have to be pretty aware of things going on in the world. You have to be aware of what other cities are doing, what other architects in other parts of the world are doing. And you have to, read a lot of magazines and look at a lot of websites and travel really the world to get ideas and thoughts, and you put all that together. And when I meet with an architect, and I really use the same architect right now all the time, and we sit down for a couple hours to talk about what it's going to be, like if I want it to be like a men's club, like some kind of clubby, woody, bricky kind of old school men's club, but a modern version of that, and then show me what you think. Show me how you think that would look, and he'd show me, like, no, that's not what I want. I want more like this. And we work on it over a period of a month to kind of get the ideology around the building, and then sort of fine tune it and cut it.
Jay, what would your ideal condo be that maybe you want to recommend to Brad J. Lamb?
Here's how it works, Brad.
Oh, you got to put in your mic, Jay.
Here's how it should work, all right? Stairs, obsolete. We need slides. So you can take an elevator up to your penthouse, 50 stories in the sky, water slide right down to the bottom.
Okay.
Good plumbing. You can make it happen. You'll have a great time. A lot of maintenance fees on that.
What would you call it?
Oh, I don't know. I have no. I'll leave that up to
It would be
Brad.
called illegal. That's what you call it. Not allowed.
No, that sounds awesome, though. The Wellington House is the project you guys are working on, one of the other developments that you're doing right here downtown Toronto. From what I hear, it's just spectacular. Why is that?
Well, before I tell you why it's spectacular, I'll tell you a story of how this came about. So I'm going to say in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a really cool nightclub there called the Wellington, and I used to go there. And it was one of the first kind of really exclusive places where if you didn't know the door guy or the owner, you're never getting in, right? Before that stuff was really happening in Toronto. And then they, it kind of operated as a private club for a while, and then it closed. And there's these two beautiful mansions, like some of the last original mansion on Wellington, because Wellington Street West between Spadina and Bathurst used to be the place to live at the turn of the century. And then the war came, and they knocked down the mansions to build armament factories and textile factories, and only this was the one house that remains. And I often wanted to, like, as I drove by, I'm like, I would love to buy that and do something cool with that. And then an opportunity came to me to buy it, and we were successful in our bid to buy it. And we wanted to keep the house intact, like the original historic part of the property, and our plan is to drag them to the front of the lot, put a cool two-story restaurant there with a big patio, because there's a lot of great patio opportunities. If you go next door, there's a Select Bistro, there's a massive patio, patio like that. And then we're building this really slender, it's 42 feet wide and 210 feet deep slab of a modern building. It's got the craziest windows. It's impossibly thin, and it provides some really amazing floor plans. So we're super excited about it, and hopefully in September we're going to bring it out to people to take a look at.
That's where you'll launch because how does that work? You get the plan in place, and then there's like a big marketing launch, I guess. Is that how that happens?
Well, the way we do it is, I've sold 25,000 condos, but I think of my own buildings, I think it's around 4,000 units. So we have a lot of people that want to buy in our buildings without even making them available, right?
Wow.
So privately, quietly. So what we usually do is we take a few months before we open the sales office to notify loyal people from the past and say, hey, you can beat the crowds and don't have to schlep through in lineups and stuff at the sales office, and you can buy or you can reserve early. So we're sort of going through the process of showing the building to people and seeing if they like it. The general grand opening for everyone would be in September when there's a model suite. We're going to build a model suite on site, a sales pavilion, and all the other sales things that most people need to make a decision. Because it's hard to make a decision without seeing what you're buying.
Sure.
And right now, the people that are reserving units have done so with us many times in the past. They don't need a lot of information to make the decision. They trust that we're going to deliver is going to be good.
What a great place to be. I'm always amazed, Brad, when you guys build these, Brad J. Lamb Realty will build these showrooms. And I think to myself, man, that showroom is probably more than most people's homes. Like the investment that goes into that alone. Yeah. It's like, I guess there's no cheapening out on that stuff. I mean, you really got to show people the vision, because I guess people's minds sometimes don't take them there.
Yeah, well, there's two things. The first thing is we could probably sell our buildings without building them.
Okay.
But you know how Apple built their Apple stores, and the philosophy was they don't care if they make $1 out of those stores. That was a replacement to newspaper advertising and TV advertising. Mm-hmm. You walk into an Apple store and you go, holy shit, this is an amazing product. Look how cool this store is. The product's cool. They're cool. So we build sales offices to market our product, Lamb Development Corp product, and Brad J. Lamb Realty Inc. as a representative selling that product. So we build those things so that you walk into our showrooms and go, wow, this stuff's awesome. Whether you buy or not, we care, but it's not the end of the world because it brands our product, right? So it's just if we have 5 or 6 showrooms around the city and you walk into them and then you talk about how much you like the product, it's really like an ad somewhere, you know? So we want to sell units through the sales office, and we do, but that's not the only reason why I build sales offices. I also build them as an advertising vehicle for our brand.
Does it put pressure on other developers to see when you're doing it with such quality that you do it, that they got to be like, we got to pick up our game? Like, is ultimately that a good thing for all consumers?
Well, I mean, I like to think of that, but I don't think many would admit that. I think, truthfully, I don't think most developers care about that deeply. I think, and I also think part of it is they don't understand. Like, to become a good developer from the standpoint of like the technical side of it, like, like a Tridel, which I think builds garbage, but it's quality garbage, right? So no one complains about a Tridel product because it's well built. But from the style of it, is Tridel an advertiser?
No, I would never. You're exclusive, so don't worry about that. Okay.
Get some phone calls from them.
Okay.
But what I mean is, by Tridel is a corporation that they think they care about design and style, but they don't really understand it, right? So in order to lead a company to deliver high quality, stylish product, you have to be a student of high quality, stylish product. You have to understand design and architecture, not to the extent you're an architect, but you need to be able to look at something and say, that's beautiful, right? It's like when you look at a pair of shoes, right? You can look at one pair of shoes and say, those shoes are awesome. And another pair is not so awesome, and you wear those awesome shoes. And other people don't get why those shoes are awesome because they don't have style. They don't get style, right?
Yep.
So I think the problem with developers is that they don't care about that as much as they care about
making money.
Making money is important, but it's just really that they might think they're doing good work, but it's not good work because it's not architecturally and design driven.
It's almost as if they're oblivious to it. But so they're just putting out something that they think people want to live in, but not something that people are going to be passionate about living in, and that's what you want to create.
Yeah, absolutely. Not everybody drives a nice looking car.
Hey, on a softer note, you're taking your daughter to Disney World. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
How old's your daughter again?
She's 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
Has having a kid changed you at all?
Oh man, yeah.
How so?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I wouldn't go so far as say I hated kids before, but I didn't understand the appeal of kids because I was never around them. I was a bad uncle. I was never really the best uncle. Now I look back and I was really kind of a shitty uncle. I could have done a better job. My brother's kids, but now I have a kid. I get it. Like, they're amazing, and now I find myself in elevators where there's kids and they're misbehaving, and I'm like, wow, like that kid's kind of neat. I understand what's going on with that kid, and I never got it before. It's an amazing experience. I'm not sure I want more kids. I've one, and I find that one's a lot for me.
yeah, it's fair.
But she's terrific, and I'm super excited about going to Disney World.
That's great to spend that quality time with your daughter. Do you compartmentalize? So when you get away, will you be like, all right, this is daddy-daughter time, and you know what? When despite all the developments going on in Calgary, Ottawa, blah blah blah, I'm just going to relax and focus on this. Can you do that?
Yeah, I do. In fact, we have a two-party management system for our daughter. Meaning, I'm not with my wife anymore.
Okay.
Divorced her.
Yeah.
Separate. And what I find is that when I'm with my daughter, that's it. Like, I just basically I spend. So when she's with me, I only want to spend time with her and nobody else.
It's nice to get to know you as a person because I admire you as a businessman, obviously, from what you've done and how you built up Toronto and continue to do so throughout Canada. What would you say to people who are chasing whatever dream it is of theirs in the business world? They're going out and they're working their balls off or their lady bits off to go and do what they can do to be successful, to be wealthy, and to obviously grow something beyond what most people would ever think they could do. But then those moments where they might have family or they might have, maybe they do have children. What's that work-life balance? I mean, what advice would you give to people to try and still get there without it affecting relationships and the other sort of stuff?
Well, I mean, what I learned early on is that so first of all, you need to do what other people are not doing, right? So what everybody does, what most people do with their life, why most people don't have any money, is they work to live, right? They don't really care about their job, because they want to have free time with their family and everything else. So I think the first thing is you have to do something you like so you can really excel at it and make money, a fair amount of money. At least what I mean by a fair amount is a fair income.
Sure.
And then what you need to do is take 10 or 15% of what you make and put it away. And you need to discipline yourself that you live on less than you make. And then you have to take that money, because no one else is doing this, and you have to invest it wisely. And investing it wisely is not putting it in a 1% savings account and wondering why you're not making any money or getting ahead. And it's not necessarily throwing it into a mutual fund and having someone else potentially mismanage your money. It's taking responsibility for your money. And you need to spend time. Everyone needs to spend time managing their money properly and thinking about what they want to accomplish with it. And most people don't do that. And it does take time out of your personal life and your family life, but it's as important as anything else you're going to do, because at the end of the day, you can't live in this world without money.
Yeah, and when it comes to that, making money, investing well, I guess it's a good segue into you doing obviously all your seminars and investing money. And I mean, I know you, so it's easy for me to say this, but I know that you truly believe in this ability to invest in condominiums and making money, whether you're living them or not. I guess just to explain to someone listening right now going, you know what, maybe I should be, instead of wasting it on expensive restaurants or the next beautiful piece of item that I don't really need because that purse might not be relevant to me and my fashion sense in 6 months from now, but start to put those, few $1,000s away a month that might make that difference in buying your condo. Why is that you believe in it so much still, and how can people go and probably get this great investment?
Well, I'm not saying that it's condos specifically.
Okay.
I mean, I'm saying, condos work because if you let's say you live in a house and you want to invest in some other form of real estate, if you buy a duplex or a triplex, I guarantee you're going to sell it in a few years because it's a pain in the neck. You got to collect from 3 tenants. The rents are typically lower than they'd be in the condo market. You have to constantly repair and fix that house, and it's draining. It's just draining. And it's like, I'm not getting ahead fast enough doing this. It's terrible. I mean, if you just did it and you did it for 25 years, you do very, very well. But people, they short-term things. So in the short term, they get pissed off because a couple of checks bounced, or maybe the roof leaked and they had some of these things that cut into their lifestyle, and they're like, screw this, I don't want to be a landlord anymore. What's great about a condo is it's managed by property management, which is all part of your condo fees. So you have to worry about that stuff. All you have to do is get post-dated checks or get a check once a month from your tenant, put in the bank. Nothing really goes wrong in your condo, right? It's you've got appliances, a toilet, a sink, a shower, and a kitchen sink, and all of the stuff's new, and a lot of it's common. Like as soon as it leaves the wall in your unit, and it's common. It's maintained by the condo corporation, so it's so much easier to do. But the thing about real estate is this: like I've had more talks with hedge funds and debates with economists who are just super negative on real estate, just always are, and radio guys and TV guys and journalists, and I just named hundreds of these people that are just always asking, if and when things will go bad. And here's the thing, I know people that have bought buildings for, and this might seem like a lot of money, but 10 years ago they bought a building in Toronto, like a little office building, for $1.5 million, and they had a small business and they ran the business out of it. And that building today they're selling for $8 million. So I don't know, is that $6.5 million a lot of money?
Beyond, I mean, and yeah, of course.
Okay, well, I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
So the guy, this person would have bought it with if he's got a small business, he could have bought it with the help of the BDC, right? Who would have given him like a 90% loan. So he would have come up with $150,000, moved his office, and he had to pay rent anyway.
Yep.
Moved his office in, maybe rented the ground floor. It was exactly the same transaction as renting. And then 10 years later, he's got, his businesses were zip, maybe, but he's got $6.5 million of profit. Plus, he's paid off a ton of mortgage, probably another $500,000 or $600,000. So he's got about $7 million that if he wants to in 10 years retire. And that's happened. That happens all over the city. And I tell this story to journalists, and there's always, and others, not just journalists, but other people who are skeptics of real estate. Like, yeah, but. There's no yeah, but. I could give you thousands and thousands and thousands of examples of this. There's guys that start off buying, a house for $200,000, they end up living in a $4 million house because they climb a property ladder. Every 10 years they sell it and they make money and they buy a new house. And they end up with a very expensive house. It's happened for the last 70 years in Canada. I mean, when will people believe it and stop thinking it's bullshit?
Well, and also with you, I would imagine, Brad, is that it's not like you're sitting there going, oh, yeah, the markets are going up and you're going to be fine. But you're investing back in. I mean, you're buying, that land you're buying now, Wellington House, say, I'm sure 10 years ago would have been a lot cheaper to buy. And you're obviously investing back in knowing that it's going to continue to grow. Listen,
I'm going to tell you something, and this is not to brag, but where I built Theatre Park.
Brag away, by the way. You're allowed.
Okay. All right. Yeah. A parking lot that I bought in 2007, just before the recession. It was $10 million. It was the biggest deal I'd ever done. And the parking lot was throwing off about $400,000 of net income. So it was a 4 cap, pretty good for a parking lot. And it was fully managed by a parking lot operator. So I got a check every month for $35,000. I bought it to do a high-rise building. I ended up getting a 50-story tower on that property. But I'll tell you this. When I bought the property, it took me 3.5 years to get it in the ground. When I got it refinanced to get an appraisal on it when I was putting it up and building it, I paid 10. It got appraised at 18 million, and the city of Toronto put a value of 18 million on it for the parks levy. So it was a real value. So if all I had done is bought that parking lot for 10 million, put 2 million down, borrowed $8 million, the 400,000 would have covered the cost of the $8 million. I would have made $8 million in 3 years.
Just on a flip of a knife.
Now that happened in the recession. I bought it in 2007. And in 2010, that was the appraisal. And that was with a recession in the middle of that, right? And so what I say to people about real estate is it doesn't go up all the time. That's fantasy. It goes down. It does. Don't sell when it goes down. Simple as that.
Weather the storm.
Yeah.
Weather the storm. And I think that's the best advice that people can have. If you're going and buying a condo, just make sure that if there's a downturn there for a few years, that you're have enough income coming in to get through those times. And I think that's pretty smart advice, right?
Yep.
Knowing what and again, nothing's too secure in life, but it's within reason. Don't go too crazy. And then slowly you can build up that portfolio within real estate.
Yeah, the thing about real estate, it's not like inventing Facebook and in 5 years being a billionaire. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen that way in real estate. It doesn't happen that way when you make orange juice or you make cars, right? Unless they're Tesla cars. But all of these things take decades. You have to be patient. To get rich in anything takes decades. You have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it and sticking to it, sticking to your plan, and you'll eventually get there.
Well, listen, Brad, that's why I love you coming on the show, because I really think you're going to help turn people's lives around by just giving them this valuable advice. And it's not me kissing ass. It's me respecting everything you've done. And it's great that you're kind of sharing your knowledge with us, and have fun in Disneyland when you leave.
Well, it's in August.
So it's not till August?
Yeah.
I thought it was sooner. Okay.
No,
so are you going to Game 6?
I have tickets for Game 6.
You have tickets?
I have my daughter, so I don't know if I want to leave her for Game 6.
Oh, that's that's love. That's beautiful. Brad, thank you so much. Brad J. Lamb Realty. Go to torontocondos.com for all your information to look at all the different projects they're working on. And Brad will be with us every single Wednesday at 5, except when maybe he's in Disneyland. And thank you very much for being here again, sir. Appreciate it. Brad J. Lamb Realty.
The Todd Shapiro Show. Canada Laughs. SiriusXM 168. The Todd Shapiro Show.
All right, we really appreciate you watching that video. Make sure you check out some more videos. Why not? Let's get caught in the Shapiro Show vortex right here. Or you can subscribe to the channel right here and check out videos at any point, because we're going to give you all the alerts. We do appreciate you being a part of our family. Most families hate each other, not ours. We love you.